Oh, live from Shithead Central.
Whoa.
It's a woke Wednesday edition of Business Pants, joined as always by Emma, not woke but actually woke lurking, and Matt, not woke but thinks he's woke. Starty.
Oh,
I'm awake.
perfect.
I'm permanently
did it.
asleep. He stepped over my tagline. In today's Pence swirled bag of nuggets called May 11th, 2022, we drive down Shithead Avenue, take a trip to Woke Lane, and then stroll up ESG Boulevard. Ah,
Wow. Places
Nice
no one
day
wants
out.
to go.
I was about to say,
That sounds nice. You get ice cream.
I don't think there's
Okay,
ice
you know.
cream there. I don't think there's ice cream in any
No,
of those places.
I think there's coconut milk from organically farmed coconuts.
Yeah,
That
agreed.
sounds amazing. I love coconuts. Let's start with the Shithead files. Give me a timer
Oh.
because I got too much information here.
Yeah,
All right.
no music, just the timer. Here we go. Timer's up. Go.
I'm going to limit this to 5 minutes. New York Times has an article out. Bolt built $11 billion payment business on inflated metrics and eager investors. Where have we heard this before? So we actually covered this on a past show. I learned after doing 2 or 3 hours of research. Okay, Ryan Breslow is the man who started this company, Bolt. He stepped down suddenly in January. We covered it here. He put out a bunch of bullshit statements at the time. But let's talk about it because I have a lot of information. I want to talk about it. Bolt. I love this nuance. It started as a Bitcoin wallet company,
Sure did.
but soon pivoted to e-commerce payments.
Of
I mean,
course.
if you're an investor in a company, this is okay with you? You're investing in one thing and then it's a different thing. That's okay.
As long as they don't pivot to porn, I think it's fine.
But isn't that proof alone that the whole investment game is just about like finding people you want to hang out with in the locker room or wherever you hang out?
That is, that
For
is
me, it's
correct.
locker room.
Usually you want to drop mushrooms with them. Yes.
Okay, so in a rush to show growth, where we heard this before, Bolt did these classic things. It's all about growth. Growth is the demon. Okay, it did a bunch of stupid things. Overstated its technological capability.
What?
Misrepresented the number of merchants using its service,
No.
including names of customers before verifying whether those merchants were able to use its technology.
What?
Lying about products, lying about the fact that BlackRock was leading a deal it wasn't leading,
Oh my God.
posting a series of horrendous tweets, encouraging employees to approve risky transactions. What else did they do?
Next, you're going to tell me they were founded by a college dropout and he's a white
Here
guy.
we go.
And he's entitled to
Yeah, luckily I have 3 more minutes and I can get to that. I will say in November 2021, which is probably what led to Ryan Breslow stepping down, although they don't admit this, they were sued by Authentic Brands because Bolt pretended that they were contracting with Authentic Brands and they weren't. So this is the kind of company it is. This is what you get. And Matt, you hit it on the nail there because this is the world of I guess this is the Theranos world we live in. So here are the highlights. I got a
permanent,
bunch of
yeah.
information about the founder Ryan Breslow. He founded Bolt when he was 19 after dropping out of Stanford.
Okay, so exactly Theranos.
Isn't that crazy?
At this point in the story, yeah.
And again, it started as a Bitcoin wallet company and morphed into an e-commerce payment. So essentially, again, you're giving hundreds of millions of dollars just because you like the guy, right?
Yeah. So still the same thus far. Keep going.
Here's a great quote I found that he said. He said, "It won't fail. It has to work because the industry isn't working the way it should." What kind of What kind of logic is this? What? This is a person you buy into? I don't understand.
That's
that.
exactly who you buy into because they have that ridiculous self-assuredness that means they know nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
you hit another nail on the head, Matt. He's a self-proclaimed fundraising guru.
He calls
dispensing
us-
wisdom, dispensing wisdom through TikTok and self-published books. Yeah, Emma.
Wait, he actually calls himself a guru? He's a
Yeah,
white man in finance calling himself
Fundraising
a
guru.
19-year-old white man in finance calling himself a guru, just to
He
be clear.
said, here's the quote: "Fundraising is purely a matter of momentum." That's not. He's not wrong about that. He's saying it's bullshit.
Very good for him.
Okay, so he had lots of charm and vision, whatever that means.
Ew.
It captivated investors. We've heard this before, including, of course, Peter Thiel's founder fund. They said there's almost a cult of Ryan at Stanford. So we
Can't
got
believe it.
charm, vision, cult. Sounds very
Ugh.
WeWorky. Sounds very Theranos-y.
Yeah.
He abruptly stepped down as CEO, blindsiding some investors. He was replaced by a South Asian man, Maju Kuruvila. Okay,
Mhm.
just saying.
It's a
Uh,
little early for the Google playbook, but good for them.
and I don't have a lot of time left for
They
this,
expedited the process.
but I did have a lot of fun on Ryan's website today. It's called Ryan Takes Off dot something, whatever.
Ryan
He's got all these
takes that
businesses.
off.
He has a business called Bolt, which is democratizing commerce. He has a business called Eco, which is democratizing money. He has a business called Love, which is democratizing pharma.
Wait,
Uh,
does he say
yeah.
democratizing in all of them?
Yes, he does. And he also Love is co-founded by the man who's called America's who co-founded by a man who founded Startup, which was trying to replace all of New York's delis. No, the startup is called Bodega. Sorry, and it's called America's Most Hated Startup. Anyway, all right, I run out of time. I want to wrap up with this. There's so much more here, and I'll put it all in the newsletter. But here are the common denominators that Matt very rightly was pointing out. These are the common denominators we're seeing all the time. So listen to us.
Everywhere.
Here we go. I got 11. Stanford
Mm-hmm.
dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
Miami. There's a lot of Miami going
Ooh,
on. in all these
Miami's
stories.
a new thing, though.
Miami.
This is the new thing. Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
new
Some
thing.
kind of a cryptocurrency. In this case, it's Bitcoin or Ethereum. I think he co-founded the Stanford Bitcoin Group, whatever the hell that is.
As you do.
Being replaced by a South Asian CEO. This is the latest rage that only we talk about.
Welcome to the zeitgeist, baby.
Charm, cult, all that stuff. Peter Thiel, he always shows up. Silicon Valley
He's
bros
involved.
in general. They love rushing in and giving money. Democratizing things. This is a big
Yeah.
one. I don't know what the hell that means.
I feel like I a couple months ago I said that if someone is using the word democratizing, I'm immediately like in the trash.
Well,
Go.
he did it 3 times.
I would
three
Yeah.
different
say
businesses.
embattled more instead of democratized.
Gobbledygook marketing, really big promises, and finally sudden departures. This is a recurring theme in this world. Like the CEOs suddenly depart.
I actually have to announce
Yeah.
right here.
Oh.
I'm suddenly departing
Why?
Oh,
for lunch, and I'll
who's
be
gonna
back
be?
later.
Oh, I was gonna say who's gonna be interim CEO? Maybe Emma.
No.
All right,
Oh,
it's
that's
my turn now.
Yeah.
Let's go. Here is a Woke Wednesday headline of the day. Female CEO told she's, quote, not the man for the job at a flabbergastingly sexist AGM. Now, flabbergastingly is in the headline. It is a quote.
Oh, really?
This is
Who said that? I like that. What?
It is the chair of Aviva PLC, a giant British insurer, said that after CEO Amanda Blanc was served a full plate of anti-woke snark at her own meeting.
Is that anti-woke snark or is that just like sexist hate?
A little of both. Let's wait
misogyny.
for it and see,
All right.
because
Maybe it's the same.
So one investor questioned during the Q&A portion of the meeting whether Blanc was, quote, the man for the job. And they
Okay, easy
emphasized
one.
man, okay.
It's an easy one. It's like a joke from the
an
80s. Yeah.
An investor named Michael Mason Mahan, who's a British sexist version of a gadfly, I think, asked whether Blanc should be, quote, wearing trousers. I mean, that's a thing.
Wait,
in
what? I don't.
UK,
But what does that
trousers.
even mean?
Are
What
we
does
gonna
that mean?
skip? Sorry, are we gonna skip right over the fact that his name is Michael Mason Mahone?
Yeah, there's a
Well,
lot
what
of
does that
M's
mean
in
to you?
there.
Mayan,
A lot
maybe.
M?
Yeah.
a lot of M's in there.
Okay.
But taking the cake was Ted O'Toole.
Whoa, hold on, Matt. Sorry, I hate to interrupt, but there's like several different dudes trolling the CEO. of
This
this
is
company for being a
one
woman?
meeting in which 3 separate individuals who are
What?
unrelated
And this-
all stood up and had a sexist comment.
And this
Yes.
didn't happen in Florida or Texas. This was
No.
This
actually
happened in the UK. Yeah.
Oh, this is okay. Keep going.
Taking the cake was Ted O'Toole. Yes,
That's good. No,
a real name. That's a real
That's
person.
made up. Yeah.
Ted O'Toole. I thought it was made up too. I
So
went and
much
looked him up.
alliteration.
He congratulated the board on its gender diversity before adding, quote, they are so good at basic housekeeping activities. I'm sure this will be reflected in the direction of the board in future.
Ugh.
That was his quote.
But these are like, not only are these like just horrible jokes, but they're
Yeah, they aren't even good sexist
right.
jokes.
They're
that
like,
was a
I love
shitty
Lucy
sexist
vintage.
joke.
Like, what is this? How do we know? Have we seen
Good
pictures of these people? Do
God.
we know how old they are? Are they
Yeah,
part of the Munger tribe?
Michael Mason Mahone is 400 years old.
Okay.
That I've seen. But just for context sake, half of
Yeah.
the Aviva board are women, making it actually an outlier in the UK, where normally only about a third are women. So good for Aviva. 94% of UK traded companies have male CEOs. 83% have male CFOs, 87% have male chairs. So you can see why Ted O'Toole is upset here. In fact, Ted O'Toole, we followed him to another shareholder meeting. I got tape of this. We have a reporter on the ground. There are 9 companies out of 343 in the UK that are listed that have 100% male boards. And Ted is actually a shareholder at one of those companies. Here's a clip of Ted asking Victorian Plumbing Group, that is a real company, a real traded company, a plumbing group, about their strategy from their AGM back in February this year. Here, let's roll tape, shall we?
Quiet down, quiet down. Mr. O'Toole, question from you.
Cheerio, chaps. Thank you for having me here. I have to say, while I'm a little disappointed that your stock price has dropped 82% in the last 5 years, it is very refreshing to be surrounded by such excellent trousers. I have 2 concerns I think need to be addressed here. First, your gender pay gap. On average, you reported you pay men 13.7% more than women, and that 86% of your top employees are men. My question is that really high enough? I know you actually managed to increase your pay gap slightly since last year, but I think you can truly do better. Second, your senior leadership team. While you have managed to make 100% of your board white men, kudos for that, on your senior leadership team you list a Stephanie Judge as a managing director, and it appears she's a woman? It does say she started as the CEO's personal assistant, which makes sense to me, but I am quite certain she is likely the sole reason the stock price is down so much. Perhaps she could go back to her housekeeping and note-taking activities. Again, thank you for the floor, and I look forward to your responses.
Oh, clapping. There was
Clapping.
Clapping at the end of that. I'll say this. At least there's finally somewhere Ted can feel safe and at home while he's doing his investing. That's my update.
So this is all real? I know part of this maybe wasn't real, but because I've heard that voice before.
Which part?
Damien
But
is the most lost I've ever seen him look.
But what I'm trying to say is the Aviva part is real.
The Aviva part is 100%
I want listeners
all
to
real.
know that this actually happened. What do we do with this information though? How do we handle this?
We've been doing this podcast for like 2.5 years. We've been doing ESG, this kind of stuff for more than 10 or 15 years. 15 years at this point. I have never heard of an annual general meeting in which 3 separate individual investors got up and had something sexist to say to a female CEO. And I've never heard of that.
And can I give you a little bit of background, which is puzzling me, which is just proving that men just suck. But I was thinking maybe this is just a stock price thing, right?
No,
because
it is not.
Aviva's stock price back in 2017 was like $540, and now it's $411. So I thought maybe this dude's just pissed off by that. But when you look at the details, she was actually hired in July 2020 when the stock had dipped all the way to $263, and now it is at $411.
She's basically doubled
since her time in power. It is skyrocketed. So there's literally nothing behind this other than just being an asshole. Oh, sorry, shitheads.
The thing that she announced at the meeting was that they were increasing their share buybacks. They were giving more money back to investors because they had so much cash. And they had successfully sold a bunch of stuff that they didn't get for more than they thought they were going to sell.
So she's a hero, essentially. She's a
basically
CEO hero to
a
the shareholder.
hero.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was going to say. I was like, she's the hero of
Jesus.
this company. And Ted
Unbelievable.
O'Toole. And by the
Wow.
way, Ted
Yeah.
O'Toole, what a name
Real
to
name,
have
real
and
person.
behave the way Ted O'Toole clearly behaves. Speaking of poor behavior, let's
Yes.
move on. Okay, ready?
Ooh,
Well,
yeah.
are you going
So-
to be poor behavior?
Yes, please.
I always behave poorly. I don't really know what's new about that. But hello, I'm
I've
back.
killed your timer.
And
Yeah.
today
Okay, let's do it.
it's not with a game. I'm not playing a game today. Sorry, Game Queen is gone.
Oh.
I'm a
Aw.
question queen
Ooh,
today.
I like Question
Ooh.
Queen.
Yes, I am the question queen today. So, if you are in the extremely niche ESG community, first of all,
I am.
welcome. We're thrilled to have you. Secondly, please
Are
go
we?
find another less depressing community to join. If you're
Oh.
looking to be
Aw.
uplifted, this isn't
This is
exactly
my
the
community,
one.
my people.
Yeah, and you're
come on.
depressed.
Matt's an ESG expert.
It's true.
It's the one thing I'll agree with you on. I am that.
At least when you're wearing the T-shirt.
And thirdly, you will probably have seen the most recent ESG criticisms on social media and in
Yeah,
the news
lots of
by
them.
various people. There are a lot.
Mhm.
And we try to explain ESG a lot, and there isn't much explanation about ESG other than that it's just data that people use and configure to make decisions.
Look,
Matt, did I do
Emma's
that
not
right?
in ESG. She got it. That's it.
I did
Yeah,
it!
because
Yay!
you've been preaching it nonstop.
Yeah, but
Done.
it's also not that hard. He says the same sentence like 80
does.
times. I'm like, okay, I
He
guess
doesn't
that's the
realize that.
sentence. So, but in the spirit of all these criticisms, I went through a couple of them and I came up with some questions that I'm hoping can elicit some interesting answers from Matt and Damien, or if not interesting, at least definitive. Are we ready?
I
Always.
was born for this.
All right. Number one. The headline is Stop the Outrageous ESG Assessments, Why Elon Musk Calls It a Total Gaming of the System. So he tweeted, Stop the outrageous false ESG assessments where Tesla gets a bad grade, but an oil company can get a good grade. Total gaming
it.
of the system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So my question is this. While I would agree with Tesla getting a bad grade, why does Tesla get a bad grade compared to an oil company? That's, yeah.
Matt, I'll let you have the floor on this one. But when we looked into this, and we're talking about this, from what I could see, both at the S&P and MSCI, Tesla has better grades than oil companies. Which is the? Let me ask you this: what oil company has a better grade than Tesla? I don't even know which one he's talking.
Damien,
What
you're
is he referring to?
anticipating my follow-up question, which is
Yeah.
also, does Tesla actually get bad ESG scores
No,
from
I mean,
various firms? Yeah.
The place I know the best, MSCI gives them a solid A, that's good. Nothing wrong with an A.
It's above
Elon
average.
wants that triple A, baby.
I was happy when I got A's. I don't know. But,
Look,
Matt, but what is this? What is this oil company to which he refers? What is he talking about?
there are oil companies that
Tell me.
rate better than Tesla.
Tell me
Okay.
one.
Prove
it.
I think Chevron is actually a double A.
I actually think
I-
you're right.
Actually.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up
and
while you talk.
There's I think Eni, which is an Italian one, might be triple A.
Okay, so
There
you're
So
cherry picking.
here's the way it works, though. This is
I don't
what's
wanna
fun.
listen to
It's
this.
not a gaming system. It's not a game. It's a viewpoint. MSCI took a bunch of data. Sustainalytics gets the same data, sometimes some slightly different. They all get a little bit of data, and then they do a thing, and they put it in a pot, and they make stew. Okay, some people make chili, some people make lentil soup, but it's
Ooh.
just you're using the same ingredients or very similar ingredients to come out with a different soup, different
Okay,
flavors.
And while Matt is what are you doing? Monologuing?
Yeah.
Can I just point out that you're
Explaining.
both wrong? Chevron is actually a triple B at MSCI, so it's rated lower than Tesla. Keep going.
All right. My point is there have to be
There's no point.
oil and gas companies that are rated better than Tesla. And the reason why there have to be is because after you make your soup, you compare. You don't say like, oh, I'm comparing my soup to Sustainalytics' soup. You actually say, how I made this soup was I compared all of the ingredients within one industry to each other. So what you
Oh,
get
it's relative
is
scores.
it's relative. It's a top-rated oil and gas company and a bottom-rated oil and gas company, a top-rated car company and a bottom-rated. So what Elon Musk should be annoyed at is that he's not the top-rated car company. Not I'm looking at this and saying, am I the top rated oil company. You're not an oil company. Don't compare yourself to them.
Well,
The
Elon,
system is not
can I talk
designed
to
like
Elon?
that.
Can I talk to Elon
Yeah,
now?
talk to Elon.
Yeah.
If you look more closely, Elon, the only reason why your score, first of all, an A is pretty damn good. Well, let's be real. It's not bad. It's an A. Okay.
Yeah. God, stop
Second of
whining.
all, the only reason why your score is even that low, if you want to call that low, is because your this S element of your score, that ESG S social, is very low, at least at MSCI, because there are a lot of heinous stuff going on at your factories.
Yeesh. Yeah.
There are a lot of controversies going on, like racism and discrimination lawsuits and more. That's the only reason. It's backed up by facts, right?
Mhm.
By
Part two of that is
Yeah.
so you have the sort of problem of discrimination and racism and stuff like that, which not great. But part two of that is your dumb brother's on the board. Can we not do that? Do we have
I was about to
do
say
that?
the G isn't great either for them.
Well, it's not.
I
But it's
mean,
not terrible. It
it's
is the
not
social
terrible.
bringing down the score. It's the social.
Mhm.
But up until like 2 years ago, Musk was the chair of his own board as well, and his brother was on the board, and his core investors from way back were on his board, and his buddies are on the board. So yeah, I mean, I look, I can agree with you that ESG assessments are flawed. Some are better than others, but lots of flaws exist. But it's not. You're fundamentally misunderstanding what it does. Their opinions, and you're not supposed to compare yourself to an oil and gas company. You're not looking
Yeah.
for a force ranking of the goodness of companies. His argument is that we're so environmentally good and they're environmentally bad. We should be better. All right, great. Make your own ESG rating and make it about environmentally good versus bad. Do whatever you want, but that's not what these ratings do.
Guys, that was a pretty good answer.
Oh,
I feel
stop it! No, it wasn't. It's terrible. I've heard that answer 500 times out of Matt. He
All
always says
right.
the same things. Come on,
Number
Matt.
two.
Debate every time.
Dare you? And by the way, any is also an A, so it's tied with Tesla. Go ahead.
BlackRock slams
no.
micromanaging climate proposals. So, after news that BlackRock would be downvoting most climate proposals it encountered in proxy season, BlackRock's stewardship team released a document that complained that a large number of these proposals were unduly prescriptive and constraining on management, and said that it would oppose any measures intended to micromanage companies or that would not promote shareholder value. So, my question is this.
Yeah.
So even people who actually like ESG
Yeah.
hate ESG.
True.
Does
that's
anyone like what ESG actually is?
I think you've just defined me. I hate.
But in the
ESG
opposite direction.
while I like it. So
Yeah.
And by the way, they've been doing this forever. They always use that excuse to turn down good proposals because they claim it interferes with the day-to-day operations of the company, which it
In
probably
what
doesn't.
way? That argument
I mean,
makes no sense
just saying-
to me.
I'm just saying that the only thing that's new here is that BlackRock probably released this after Mike Pence ripped into ESG. They're probably just doing a little bit of PR deflecting. I don't know. What do you think?
All right. So in that case, let's move on to number 3 because we're getting there.
Cut you off. I like it. Yeah. Keep
Mhm.
going. Keep going.
Number 3, Pence rips socially minded investing, wants to rein in ESG. My question, no further context, that's all you really need to know, but my question is this.
Yeah.
Actually, I have 2 questions. One, why does Mike Pence give a shit about ESG? And 2, do we think that he knows what ESG is? Or do we think he's just doing what donors tell him to?
Well, in this situation, this is the political realm, which we don't talk about because we suck at talking about it. ESG is a proxy for the left. That's it. It's that simple. I don't think there's anything more going on here. It's just coded rhetoric for anything left of the aisle, and absolutely not. Of course he doesn't understand what ESG is. He's not a very nuanced man. He's not a very curious man. This is not even a political thing. He's a dope.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who who won't have meetings alone with women. I mean, he and
He and Ted
a
O'Toole
dope.
should get together.
He's a literal and scary dope.
But when we talk about this in pre-production, I think there's kind of like
We have pre-production.
three or four types of people with ESG. There are the people who know the data, like get the raw data points, they use the raw data points to understand them.
Damien.
That's us. We actually are those people. There are people who then buy like some amalgam of the data in the form of a score from someone else. Like that's most asset managers. That's BlackRock, right? Like they do that. Then there's people who complain loudly about what they just bought in the scores, right? Like
I complain a lot too. Yeah.
And then there's reporters and Mike Pence who basically spend all of their time having never seen a score, really, having never seen the data at all. They're so far removed from it, but have deep opinions about how flawed and terrible and leftist or rightist or incomplete it is. Those are the three people. Mike Pence is the latter.
I said there were four people. Yeah.
Those are the four. Yeah, it's like 3.5. Mike Pence is the latter. That's where he is.
All right. And to wrap this up, finally, number 4, we have our favorite, Matt's favorite, really, Mark Andreessen.
Yeah.
So he tweeted the plan, : ESG funds will invest in defense companies to make the weapons required to fight wars with hostile regimes we buy energy from, because ESG funds won't invest in the energy companies. My question is this.
Wait. Yeah.
Is he wrong?
The ESG funds will invest in defense companies.
There's so many embedded idiotic parts.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I just don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. First of all, can I just say how awkward it is when anyone in power in America is complaining about Russia invading Ukraine a mere 15 years after a horrendous war in Iraq where we took no culpability for. Anyway,
it's
correct.
I'll get off that.
Now.
Yeah. Yeah, you take this one. I don't want to take this one, Matt.
Look, ESG funds investing in defense companies. Sometimes that'll happen because one fund decides they should, and sometimes it won't.
Wait, can we slow down here? You're using the term ESG funds like it has like a meaning behind it. It doesn't.
No meaning. There's no meaning.
Yeah, because as even the SEC points out that's just it's a marketing. The acronym can also be used as a marketing tool. So. Yeah. What the hell is an ESG fund?
I'm going to replace ESG with Dewey Decimal System. So Dewey
don't do that. You're
Come on. You can't sully Damien's best friend.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do that. Yeah.
It's an organizational principle. So like, funds that organize data one way, invest in defense companies won't buy, and other funds who organize it in a different way won't invest in energy companies. Like, what are we talking about? This is the dumbest, most idiotic. We left 55 assumptions.
Yeah, I agree with Matt on this one, Emma.
Shut up.
The real problem here is the subject of these thoughts from Mark is that the subject being ESG funds. He doesn't know what those are. Nobody knows what they are. There's no catch-all for what an ESG fund is. Like we can actually define ESG. We can talk about the data. ESG funds. That's meaningless.
Nothing.
You're just twittering meaningless nonsense, Mark.
It was getting into conspiracy theory territory, which is where
really
obviously I got intrigued. So
yeah,
that's where you live.
I don't want to prolong this 6-hour show, but why do you hate Mark Andreessen again? What's his deal? What does he do?
Matt hates Mark Andreessen.
What's his?
He's a Peter Thiel type.
Yeah, he's a PayPal Mafia member.
He's in the PayPal Mafia.
Yeah. He's an early investor in Zuckerberg. He's one of the. He's just that.
So he's just trolling here.
Billionaire crew. That's libertarian out of Stanford, out of Silicon Valley, that now owns effectively the entire world. He's in that.
He did not go to Stanford. How dare you? He went to University of Illinois. Come on.
Worse.
Oh, so he's the old school Netscape generation of Peter Thiel.
Yeah. He's an OG.
So this is just third grade trolling. Okay, I didn't realize this is just I'm sorry, but this is even this is a step below Mike Pence because Mike Pence just doesn't know what's going on. It's just political rhetoric. This guy should know what's going on. He's
If
just
someone
a
handed
bully.
Mike
He's a
Pence
bully.
like talking points and said, say
Yeah,
something
yeah.
about the
He's-
leftists
yeah,
taking
yeah.
over.
I
the
give him a pass
investment.
for that because the left does that to the right. But Mark Andreessen is a bully. He's just being a jerk.
But
and a troll.
every one of these stories, to Emma's point in asking questions about them, is really just a million layered misunderstandings about what we're really talking about, which is a badly organized set of data. That's
All right,
it.
stop saying that.
Forget
Sorry.
it. It's
End
over.
the show.
We'll never
Done.
say it again.
I never want to
You
hear
will.
about ESG again until tomorrow when we come back with more business pants. That's it. Goodbye.